What stupid myth do too many people believe? That if you put a frog in tepid water and slowly raise the temperature, the frog won't try to escape and save itself when the temp gets too high. Great for illustrating certain points, but completely untrue. It's true if you cut their brains out first, which is what the study that originated this myth did. Goldfish have short-term memory. Actually, goldfish can remember things up to a year. So many goldfish myths. It's a myth that they'll only grow to fit the size of their tank. They can definitely outgrow tanks, and both fancy and common goldfish routinely grow up to 7 or 8 plus in indoor aquariums. In outdoor ponds where they have large volumes of water to dilute irritants, common goldfish have been reported to grow up to 18 inches. People also believe that goldfish have naturally short lifespans. This is wrong. They have unnaturally short lifespans because people kill them through neglect/incorrect care. The average lifespan of a goldfish is 5 to 10 years. The longest lived goldfish on record lived to 43. We talking about the snack cracker, or? You get arthritis by cracking your knuckles. All it is just gas bubbles popping. Also, some guy did a long-term experiment, several decades I think, where he constantly cracked all knuckles in one hand and left the other one alone. After the experiment was over, they took x-rays and tests to find that both hands were practically identical in terms of condition. That must have taken so much self-control. Good to know I quit my habit of cracking my knuckles for nothing. Edit, why surely didn't expect to get awards for this. Thanks, Toe. Edit 2, Horishet. Well, thanks for the gold, I guess. Fire sprinklers. They don't all go off by pulling a fire alarm, they're individually heat activated. Also, you really don't want whatever nasty shit that's been in them for years coming out. Generally true, but there are a ton of different systems out there for specific uses. For instance, a deluge system common in airplane hangars may be activated by a manual pull station activating all sprinkler heads. Your typical NFPA 13 system will not. That it takes 7 years to digest gum if you swallow it. So, 6 then? My BF told me that when he was a kid he thought there were gears inside him that would get jammed if he swallowed gum, and then his gears wouldn't work for 7 years. Bermuda Triangle. For any given same-sized sea area there is statistically the same amount of missing ships and planes. And a surprising number of ships and planes that vanished in the triangle. Sank/crashed for perfectly understood reasons. Went missing for a few hours, then were found perfectly safe and sound. Sank/crashed/went missing nowhere near the triangle, in one case in the Pacific, never actually existed in the first place. Wow, I wasn't ready for that one. Spot reduction of fat. People think that doing sit-ups will burn fat around your belly area. But if I always put the weight on in my belly, shouldn't I always fucking lose it in my belly? Come on life, be reasonable. I'm telling you, I have a six-pack under all this flap. You can suck venom out of a snake bite. Arthur Morgan could do it, and that's good enough for me. My cat bit a friend who was cat-sitting for me. He tried to suck out the venom and spent several days in hospital with sepsis. Too many people believe that porcupines can shoot their quills when they actually have to jab you with their quills. Darn cartoons and their dramatic sneezes. Lol, they can only shoot quills when they're at full health. That's why it's important to get at least one quick hit in, even if it's a light attack, to disable their ranged capability. Should be an easier fight at that point. That sugarcane grows faster on sand. Has Minecraft been lying to me all these years? Screw it. I'll use sand anyway. I like the look. You won't get in trouble if you tell the truth. Edit, yes, I know that morally, this is not the good option. But if you are in a sticky situation, and I bet you once did, you probably lied. You what? I'm laughing. Chuckling really. You get told this from the time you are a little kid. Right up there with being able to trust a police officer. I once walked right up to a cop one time and handed him a bag of weed I found. It was at a place where kids were, so. Well, guess what? I got arrested. It's illegal to turn on lights in your car. It's the truth. Ask any dad. While it isn't illegal, it is more likely to get you pulled over. Especially if you're also swerving and driving erratically. The real reason people say it's illegal is because the glare from an interior light can make it really damn hard to see through the glass. That human beings only use 10% of their brain. Good grief, I can't listen to people who say this is true. The worst thing is, my teacher in elementary school thinks that humans only use 10 to 15% of their brain, and the reason Albert Einstein, for example, was super smart is that he used about 30% of his brain. The biggest amount of bullshit I've ever heard, and the person saying it is a science teacher. Some of the ones I know do. That if you're an organ donor then doctors won't try hard to save you and might let you die. I'm a doctor, when I'm treating a patient whether the patient is an organ donor or not never crosses my mind, I will genuinely have no idea. And even if I did, why would I want to sacrifice my patient for some random other patient across the country? Surely that would just make me look like a shit doctor. Right? We all know the reality is that you just break into people's homes and harvest their organs like that Monty Python skit. My grandpa recently asked to have a NAP put into place. He's terminally ill, he was in hospital at the time with pneumonia and the staff started to get him ready to go home not long after it was finally put into place. My grandma's now convinced that the NAP means they won't treat him for anything anymore, like they're just going to let him suffer a slow death. She doesn't seem to get that it's only for CPR, no other treatment will be withheld. Although nobody is going to scroll this far, there's actually a Wikipedia article just for this, list of common misconceptions. That people won't scroll this far. It's almost time for the yearly reading. My arm's not broken, it's only fractured. It's the same thing. Source, I'm an X-ray tech. In my experience, it seems that most people think a fracture is when it's not broken the whole way, and broken means it's broken clean in half, or multiple pieces. In this case, I understand their intent, they simply don't know the right words. Still annoying though, they do mean the same thing. Genuine question, what is a broken bone called that's completely broken in two pieces versus a bone that has a crack in it but otherwise still one piece? I thought the former was a break and latter a fracture. A fracture is a subcategory to a break though. Snakes will chase you and bite you, opossums have rabies, pigs are dirty, there's tons of misinformation about animals. Pigs are only dirty when they've been in contact with dirt. Here's a nifty little opossum fact, they almost never have rabies because they run too cold. Bonus fact, they will eat massive amounts of ticks and bugs. They look like mean rat cats but they're really not. They're quite beneficial to keeping your home pest free. Shaving makes your hair grow back thicker. I wish this were true. I'd shave my head every night. I feel like maybe this came from the fact that people usually start shaving before they're completely through puberty. Despite what many people think Albert Einstein never failed math. The confusion likely comes from the grading system, but this myth has been around for a long time and used by people as a sort of motivation. When he was shown a clipping from Ripley's Believe It or Not, where that myth originated, he responded, "I never failed in mathematics. Before I was 15 I had mastered differential and integral calculus source." Correct. His work ethic was spotty, no less than is typical for a teenager, at times, but he always made decent grades, and by the time he was 15, everyone could see that he was brilliant. Also, he wasn't just a patent clerk in Switzerland. That was a highly prestigious job, back then. It wasn't academia, but it had gravity. People think that if you ask an undercover cop is they are an undercover cop, they have to tell the truth. An undercover cop does not have to reveal that they are a cop, even if the person asks. I don't think I've ever heard this outside of comedy movies. I'm not sure anyone actually believes this. It made that scene in Breaking Bad with Badger and that skinny actor funny though. Higher octane fuel is better for your car. Unless it was designed for it, there is literally zero benefit. Lighter wallet. Car moves faster. For more on this topic, the higher the octane, the less likely it is that the fuel will combust prematurely due to compression prior to the spark plugs igniting the fuel at the optimum time. In high compression engines, the higher octane is needed, but if your engine was manufactured to run a lower compression, then the higher octane is a waste of money. The higher octane will still work, because the spark plug produces enough heat to ignite pretty much any gas, but there would be no need for higher octane if your engine is not ruining at a relatively high compression. TLDR, use the lowest octane rating the manufacturer tells you to use and save your money. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.